Hey, how y'all doing out there? My name is Keith, and sometimes I do videos about flying in Microsoft Flight Sim. And last time I took y'all on a trip to Jennings, Louisiana. Remember that one? Where there was going to be the Swamp STOL, the Husky National Swamp STOL competition is going to be happening in Jennings, Louisiana. Well, you know what? Check it out. So you can see it right there. It's June 10th through 12th. It's coming up real soon, and it's going to be a blast. You guys really need to come and show up. And what I'm getting ready to do is, so if you remember the video the last time, okay? So the last time I tried to, I loaded up a Kit Fox STI, and I tried to do the short takeoff and landing. Takeoff, I think that I did respectably well. Landing, it took me a couple of tries to not destroy the plane on the way in. And when I did land, it was very long. But these guys, man, when they come in for these short landings, it's truly impressive. And anyway, so I did this video, right? And I didn't do too well, which was not surprising because I'm not a pilot. I'm not even really a great, I'm not even really a great flight sim pilot. But the cool thing is that my good friend Matthew Peterson, he was one of the people who saw the video, right? And he called me up and said, look, how about I take you out in my airplane and I show you in person what the whole short takeoff landing feels like in the cockpit, like in the airplane. So then he's going to give me some advice, and I'm going to try to use that, see if I can improve my game in the flight sim, see if I can do better. But the cool thing is we got a set of GoPros, and he invited all y'all to come with me. So let's head out. Let's get to the airport. All right, come on. I'm stoked. Let's do this. Hey guys, we made it to the airport. My good buddy Matthew Peterson, and this is his aircraft right here. And yeah, I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit about it because he knows more.
Hey guys, I'm Matt Peterson, Colonel Matt Peterson. I'm the event organizer for Swamp STOL, and this is the Intruder. The Intruder is a 1957 Cessna 172. Now the 172, you've probably already flown in a 172, haven't you?
A few times, yeah.
Yeah, it's the most common aircraft ever made. There's 60,000 of them made. They started making it in 1956. The second year of production, they made this one. All right, so yes, it is an antique. We're not going to treat it like an antique, though. We're gonna take it up and ring it out and fly it and do a couple of stalls and kind of demonstrate some of the training that we go through to train for a STOL event. Because a STOL, even though they sound the same, short takeoff and landing events, to start your training for that, the first thing you have to do is find out where your aircraft stalls, okay? Because you don't want to stall on final. It's bad.
That would be bad. Yeah,
that would be very bad.
Ungood.
You're going to see some video later of when we stall, and you'll see why that's not a good thing. But we're going to go up and we're going to make this thing stop flying a couple times, and we're going to get some video of that. So this aircraft, I've owned it for about 450 hours. It's got about 3,000 hours total on it. I've put 450 on it myself, so I'm one of the primary users of this airplane. It's rode over 180 different people. I'll look in my logbook. I'll figure out what number you are.
Right, because I did this earlier. This is my second time in this aircraft, so I'll have two positions in the logbook.
That's right. And so it flies a lot of people, a lot of young eagles. As you know, I'm the airport director there at LA3 in Jackson, Louisiana, Feliciana Air Park. And I use this aircraft a lot for outreach in the community. I've also taken a few people to go and fly over their hunting camps. They want to go, see what's going on at their hunting camp. Sometimes people get really mad because they find out that there's some stuff going on in the woods they didn't know about. I have to remind them that's not my fault. I also use it whenever I travel. We flew down from Sulphur Springs yesterday. Did something really cool yesterday. We got to go to the American Legend Cub Factory and got a walk around from the owner, runner, manager, the whole guy, okay, Mr. Darren Hart. He walked us around. We got to see how an American Legend Cub is made. And these are modern STOL aircraft. These are premier backcountry airplanes that you can get.
That's amazing.
It was absolutely amazing. I mean, we started in the welding shop, and You know, they're literally putting planes together. Like, this is how an airplane is born. It was some of the finest welding I've ever seen. We joke, Keith and I were both grew up in the country, and you know, we know what a good weld looks like, and wow, holy cow.
A good weld looks like something that I don't do.
Yes,
for the most
precisely.
part.
Same here. I can't do what they do there. It was unbelievable. But we got to see it all the way through the covering, and then they're putting it together. And Mr. Darren is putting together a STOL aircraft that might be ready for Oshkosh. We hope.
That would be nice.
I want to see it. It won't be ready for Swamp STOL, and that's okay. But we're hoping that it'll be ready for the demo team at Oshkosh, because I am dying to see this thing. These are literally top-of-the-line premier aircraft. These are something that you can set down in a riverbed, get out and camp for the night, and they carry a lot of weight. And, of course, they can take off really fast, because that's the name of the game here.
Absolutely. And also, just as we're getting back to STOL, as we all talked about earlier, my simulated flight landing and my wide ass pattern.
Big pattern. We're going to talk about that.
We're going to talk about that. He's going to give me some pointers. We're going to do some things, try to change up the way I handle myself in the virtual aircraft. And maybe after this we can take another flight, and hopefully I'll make a better showing.
Yeah, and don't nose over. Don't hit the brakes too hard.
Yeah, again, that's less than ideal.
Yeah, not a problem in this aircraft. You know, we've got this nice little nose wheel. You know, and there are Cubs that are made with a nose wheel, believe it or not. But when the guys come in, they'll come in and they'll be hitting those brakes, and you'll see it raise that tail up, and that's when they're getting, you know, some of the best stopping that they can. There's a lot of other companies that are going to be there at Swamp STOL. Husky, Aviat Husky makes another one of these top-of-the-line premier backcountry aircraft. I got a couple of pilots bringing Huskies in. Real excited to see them work. They're all going to be out there in the pattern, just banging it around, and you know, hey, we're gonna see who's the best. It's a competition.
Absolutely. I can't wait to be there. All right, let's hop on the airplane. Let's see what this thing can do.
Let's do it, man.
All right, man.
All right, let's go.
As you can probably already realize, I'm not really recording the internal aircraft communications there. So unfortunately you won't be able to hear me and Matthew speaking to one another. I didn't bring the right cables and connectors to interface inside the aircraft comm system with my audio device. So I'll attempt to go ahead and give you the basic rundown of what's being said and what we're doing. Alright, we're going to do a short little taxi, get out here on the runway. It's a small runway, so it's going to be pretty quick to get clearance and check air traffic. The other issue that's going on right now is there's apparently a pretty good little bit of crosswind, and there's some chop in the air. So we're not going to be able to do as well as as you would be able to do if the wind was heading in the direction of the runway, for one. But hey, it's still going to be pretty fun. It's going to be pretty interesting. All right, getting ready to pull out onto the primary runway here, and he's clearing it with the tower and other aircraft in the area, and physically looking down the runway to see if anybody's coming. Now that we've come to a stop, what he's going to do is going to keep the brakes on and give it a lot of power, and then we're going to go ahead and take off really fast. He said he's not going to take off as aggressively fast as he would in the competition because of the crosswinds and whatnot, but it's still pretty quick. So he's doing the 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, and flaps. And up we go. Pretty quick. Right here we're doing the ground effect. Just sort of flying nice and low. And as we get on down the runway, he's going to go ahead and start pulling back up. Now we have to stay under a certain elevation for a moment here because apparently we're still underneath the air traffic of New Orleans International Airport. So we're gonna hook a left up here pretty soon, and going to basically get outside of that air traffic control before we get any real altitude. Now it looks like I think this might be where we're getting out of range of the airport, because coming up here very soon he's going to go ahead and grab some altitude, and the end goal is to get up to 2,000 feet, or maybe we went to 3,000. I can't remember. We did one of those. I honestly don't remember everything's being said by here. But, I think it was something about, now look, I'm going to tell you, all this down here, they ain't got no crawfish. Look, you can look at all that. I'm telling you right now, the place to go, alright, if you really want to know, the place to go, alright, I want you to look out over yonder. Look, you see that bayou coming up? Look, it starts from way over here, and it goes all the way down across the other way. I'm going to show you something. Look, I'm going to show you something right here coming up. You make sure you look out that window, okay? Now, look, here it comes, here it comes. Are you ready? Right there. Look out that. Look, just look down there. That's where you're going to go get the crawfish. I done told you. There it is. Or maybe it had something to do with aviation. I can't remember which. Now right about here is about where we got the altitude we needed, and it's about to start explaining about the vertical speed indicator. Alright, now we're cutting, and now you see we're going to go ahead and keep the vertical speed at 0 while cutting the throttle, and that's the whole trick. We're going to lose all of our energy. We're going to keep it level. And at some point, in order to keep it from descending, you have to start pulling up, and then you lose more energy, and you start descending, and you pull up, and you lose more energy. And at a certain spot, that's where you're going to go ahead and stall out, and there it is. And you see me lift up in my seat as we go back down. He gives it, obviously when you nose down, you gain acceleration, and you get the flight characteristics back, and you start flying again. But he also goes ahead and gives some more throttle. Maybe a little bit of a, I think what do you call it, a mini hammerhead. We didn't do the full hammerhead stall, but he went up and did a mini hammerhead. Now you all from South Louisiana know where that is. I intend heading down to Lutcher. So at this point, Matthew decided he's going to show me a pretty good steep turn, and then decided, hey, you know what? Let's go the other way so you can use the other camera angle. and you can see what's going on. And if you look out the camera, you can wave. So that's what I've done. Now, right about here, Matthew decided to engage in a little exercise of poor judgment. That's right. He told me to scoot up the chair and grab a hold of the wheel. So that's what I've done. Now, let me tell you, this is, I mean, I've been in small aircraft before, okay? And I know how it feels. But the feel of a flight sim and the feel of an airplane are obviously just, they're just quite different. I mean, you feel it in everything. You feel it in the seat of your pants. You feel it in the wheel and the yoke. And there was a lot of crosswind, a lot of chop, and it was pretty freaking awesome. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty awesome. I mean, everybody should be a pilot. Well, you know what? No, I'm gonna change my mind. Everybody shouldn't be a pilot, because then the airway would be too crowded. So, yeah, I'm gonna be selfish. Don't be a pilot. Well, no, I'm not gonna say don't be a pilot. Just, I had a lot of fun. Now this is about the point where Matthew goes in and takes control back with the aircraft. And there it is. I just let go. He's got control. Gonna drop some altitude and get involved in our final approach. Basically, we're gonna head kind of almost straight towards the center of the runway before we hook over to the right. Now, here's something that I didn't notice until he was a little bit up in the air, was one of Matthew's friends, pilot buddies, Shane, is taking off right now. And I'm trying to take a look here to see if I can spot him before he gets off the runway. But it's a little far, and the exposure isn't really correct on the camera. But, oh, there he is, there he is. Boom, there he is. You can see him behind against the trees. All right, yep. Good talking with you, Shane. Hope we'll see you out there next time. Maybe at the STOL competition. Who knows? He'll probably show up. All right. Now what we're getting ready to do here is come along parallel to the runway, and we're going to pass it up and turn around and come back in for the final landing. He's explaining that you want to get the end of the runway out onto your, even with your left strut. And there he goes, pointing it out there. All right. And away we go. We're going to come in a little high, but then he is going to cut the throttle and go nearly full flat and set it down really quick. Come on now, y'all. Here we go. A lot of leaning and looking and leaning, getting all lined up perfect. He just threw the flaps. We went to almost full flaps. I forgot the degrees he said. I think it was like 35 degrees, 40 degrees, something like that. And this final lineup, this is where I'm having a lot of issues with my landing, coming in slow enough for one. Here we go. Boom. There it is. On the ground. And make the first turn off. All right. That was my official, for real experience of short takeoff and landing. That was awesome. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you very much. This was great. So I think I'm going to head on back home and load up Microsoft Flight Sim and head on down to Jennings, Louisiana, site of the Husky National STOL event coming up here in June. And I'm going to practice. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to see if any of this advice works out for me and allows me to make a better showing of myself. And we're going to do a different video because this one's already gotten a little bit long. So we're going to do a different video. This is going to be the end of this one. And I thank you for watching, and check out the next video where I'm going to attempt to use my skills.